Alrighty, short and sweet. Next upcoming meeting on the 8th, we're going to do our board meeting recap. And the last meeting here for the month of December, Andy Hollis of Upper Shore Aging. I requested a bio from our speaker today and was reminded that he needs no introduction. No, I'm just kidding. I thought it was very funny. He was like, it's Jack Anthony, and I have no idea what he's talking about today.
It's great to be here. It's always an honor to speak before the Rotary Club of Easton, especially today when I look at this table over here and see two of my all-time favorite Rotarians, Tim Kagan, who personifies service above self, not only for this club, but for Rotary International and for this community, and Jack Baker, who has 45 years of perfect attendance. I was sure hoping that he wasn't going to mess that up today. But thank you both for the honor of being here for my talk today. It means so much to me. Thank you. My eyesight is getting worse and I'm going to have trouble reading. I have my glasses on or off, but I'm speaking from the heart, so bear with me. Read a little bit. No, I'm not going to talk about baseball today. I'm not going to talk about Rotary, and I'm not even going to talk about Thanksgiving, one of my favorite holidays that just passed. It's now December, and it's time to focus on Christmas. It can be a very stressful time of year. Too many things to do. Too little time in which to do them. But I'm going to talk about finding that special gift. I have been blessed to grow up in a family with one of the best gift givers I have ever known. And that's my mother. She was also the greatest gift receiver of all time. Yes, the greatest of all time. Please don't tell anybody that I was referring to my mother as the GOAT. But she was the greatest of all time. You could give my mother a roll of toilet paper, and she would say, "This is fabulous. I've been thinking about buying this brand for a long time. I'm so glad you gave it to me. I can't wait to try it. I love it." That's my mother. Now, most of you know I have a twin brother, Joe. He's not nearly as gracious a gift receiver as my mother is. He's the gift receiver that would say, "I just read this book 2 weeks ago. I already have 2 red sweaters. Where can I return this gift you gave me?" But anyway, I'm here today to rehash some of the best gifts that I have received throughout the years, and some of the best gifts I think that I have given throughout the years, and I hope that it will help you ease the stress a bit this holiday season in trying to determine what that special gift is. It doesn't have to be expensive. You just have to listen. You have to pay attention to your loved ones, what they're saying throughout the year. whether it be about their hobbies, where they want to go, what they want to do, what their hopes and dreams are. It can be anything. I've found over the years that the nothing gifts, which I call them the nothing gifts, are really the best gifts of all. So give it some thought, and I think you will find that you are not only giving yourself a true gift of finding that perfect one for a loved one, you will be receiving a gift from them back in return. So I'm going to go down this list. My mother. I'll start with my mother. I already did. She would always ask questions. What do you want? What do you want for Christmas? What can I do? And I got tired of it. Mom, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I don't really care what you give me for Christmas. I mean, how many of us have said that to people in the past? Every one of us, I think. Said, I don't want anything. But the thing I do not want is I don't want a check. I don't want you to give me a check. Well, she was not about to give me a check. 1991. This is what she gave me. 1991. We hang it every year. That's 31 years ago. How many of you remember what your mother gave you for Christmas 31 years ago? My mom's been gone for 22 years almost. Bear with me, I'm going to try to read this. You could do a lot better today. This was before the internet and you could create things like that. But it's red paper with holly leaves, and it's a red border, green paper, red ink. And she says, "Dear Jack, for Christmas this year, you requested a poem and not a check. For Christmas so be prepared, for this little ditty is what you'll get." There was no stated preference as to sentiment or wit. Probably a little bit of both is what you'll get. Through your childhood years, Santa's job was easy and set. A sled, skates, books, cowboy boots, and the like was what you'd get. In your teen years were Boy Scout items, ping pong, baseball bats, basketballs, and a bat. The growing years were changing the type of gifts that you'd get. And then the adult stage brought jackets, sweaters, canoes, everything but a jet. But nothing is left for you to get. But all through the years and the ones to come, you can bet my heart and love you'll always get. Muzz. That's a great gift. We can all think of that sentiment and people that would love to receive a gift like that. So, we've been encouraged through the years. I think it started with COVID. John Floor encouraged us to write a note to other people just to let them know what we were thinking, what we felt, and things like that. And it helped during COVID. Tim Kagan is the best note writer that any of us know. Tim is so quick to write a thank you note for something that most of us didn't even realize we needed thanking for. But Tim, almost a day or two after you had an encounter with Tim, he would write you a note. And Tim, those notes are special and precious to all of us. And we've talked about writing notes. We try to do that with loved ones and so forth. Many times we don't do that because we don't really have the proper utensils. We depend on emails and text. What is pen and paper? And if we find it, we're not going to send somebody a heartfelt note on yellow lined paper or anything like that. So here's a gift idea. One year I gave my wife, who is a big quilter, so I decided to give her some letterhead and note paper and envelopes with a picture of a quilt that she had made as the centerpiece for her note paper. And the quilt happens to be one that she quilted for me after 15 or 17 years ago, after I had my heart surgery. She made me a quilt that has nothing but a big red heart in the middle. So I gave her some note paper that I will pass around that has the quilt, her name and address, and you can all think about that. And this is something that can give to a loved one, an acquaintance. They'll think about it every time they want to write a note to somebody, and it will also eliminate the excuse, and I use this excuse many times, I don't have the proper things to write the note on. So a couple years ago, I did the same thing for myself. I created my own logo, distinctive logo, and those that have received a note from me will recognize that. It's a baseball diamond with my initial in the middle, and the emblem on first base, second base, third base, and home are Christ Church, Easton, Maryland, Talbot Hospice Foundation, Rotary Club International, and home plate is a house with a heart in it. 4 things that mean the most to me in my life. So think about note paper, creating a piece of note paper for those who might be on your list. A number of years ago, back in 1976, I was wondering what to do for a Christmas present for Nancy. I had 2 sons, David, who was 5, and Jed, 8 months old. I had just started my business. Money was not very plentiful. I had a good friend, the late Greg Romaine, who at that time was the editor of the Star Democrat. He was also a member of the Rotary Club. Greg and I were talking about different things, and we came up with a unique idea, which is still one of my favorite gifts throughout the years. We created a front page of the Star Democrat. He took pictures of me and my boys. I wrote the articles in the Star Democrat, and we had it made into a poster, and I framed it and gave it to Nancy. Wow. If you can't read it, I'm going to pass it around, and it says, "Nancy's boys say Merry Christmas." And all the articles were written by me with photographs. It was a wonderful gift. I gave it to her Christmas morning. She was so excited. Later on that day, I get a knock on the front door, and it was in the person of Mr. John Hurt, who at the time was the proprietor of Doc's Quick Shops, which were open on Christmas morning, and they were selling newspapers. And he had a stack, there had to be at least 50 Star Democrats. And he said, "I don't know what happened. I've been getting complaints all day. People pick up the Star Democrat, and this is the front page." Well, unbeknownst to me, after I had left Greg Romaine's office, John had been in there for his weekly advertising, and they devised this scheme to print 50 copies. It was the regular paper, but with my front page, and to say that they were inadvertently distributed all around the county. It took me a while to realize that I was the one that was receiving the gift in the form of Greg and John. And I think about that. I think about you and your presentation. I can still see you opening the front door and seeing you carrying that stack of Easter Star Democrats. So thanks for that gift you gave me that year. Most of you know that when you see me, you think of baseball. You think I'm into baseball, and some of you, as was even discussed at lunch today, might feel that can be somewhat one-dimensional as far as baseball goes. I've been trying for my whole life I'm not one-dimensional. There's more facets to me than just baseball. I actually was a 3-year starter at tight end in Washington and Lee University for the Washington Lee Generals back in the late 60s. So I played college football. I'm proud of that little known fact. I'm proud of it. Well, one year at Christmas, I got a package from my oldest son, David. Opened it up, couldn't begin to figure out what it was. He had gotten me a football helmet from Washington and Lee University to commemorate. Now, granted, this was not the helmet that I wore.
Leather.
Men were men back then. We had one bar across there. This was not the actual helmet, but it made me feel good, and I can hold it up and say, this was my helmet at Washington and Lee. And the reason that it made me feel good was that it replaced the helmet that the family thinks I actually wore. I've put this in the closet and proudly display my new helmet. I told you my wife is a quilter. She's got most of the quilts she makes, she gives away. Family, friends, so forth. Some we keep in the house and we display. We have quilts we bring out for the fall season, quilts we have to put away and bring out new ones for the spring season and things like that. But she also has an inventory of quilts that are just packed away. And I think that it's a shame that we don't have more space to display these quilts all the time. So several years ago, last year I believe it was, I contacted my friend George Hatcher. Being Santa Claus, you have to have a lot of elves, and I've been fortunate to have a lot of elves. George came over to my house one day while Nancy was out. We went through her quilting room, which is enormous, and pulled out quilts, and George took pictures of some of my favorite ones. And we created this collage of Nancy's quilts that I gave her for Christmas. Thank you, George Hatcher. It cost, my elf is very reasonable when it comes to price. And if I don't pay him right on time, I don't get any dunning notice either. He lets me slide for a while.
He also has a handwritten letter on the back.
Exactly. He has a handwritten letter on the back. So we'll pass that around to take a look at it. But here again, a gift idea. If your wife or your husband or your significant other has a hobby or a bunch of collectibles that are just maybe not that they were gathering dust, get them all together and maybe you can do something creative so that you can display them from time to time. Now I'm big into pictures and things like that for Christmas. But next one on the list, one year, Nancy, we decorate a lot for Christmas, and she said, I have too many Santa Clauses. I don't want any more Santa Clauses. Don't anybody give me another Santa Claus. I've got plenty. I don't know where to put them all. Yes, dear, we won't give you any more Santa Clauses. But an idea sparked into my one-dimensional brain. So I went out and I rented 3 Santa Claus costumes, and while she was out for the day, that is myself and David and Jed, all dressed up as Santa Claus, completely surrounded by her Santa Claus collection, and we gave
down here.
yeah, and we gave her that poster for Christmas, holding to the theory that she probably wouldn't mind getting one more Santa Claus picture.
One more won't hurt.
One more won't hurt. So, did you know, I'm talking to the guys and I know I'm gonna turn in my man card a little bit, but did you know that chapstick and lip balm comes in so many different flavors? Who knew? Who knew that? What guy out there will stand up and admit that he knew that? Okay. You can get candy cane, you can get pumpkin pie, you can get pineapple, you can get raspberry, you can get cherry, whatever. For several years, I would put an assortment of chapstick in my wife's stocking at Christmas. And the tagline was, even after I've been married 50 years, when I kiss her goodnight, I'm always surprised because I never know what flavor I'm going to be getting. So, how's that for a nothing gift? Huh?
Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, boy.
I'm an old guy. My kids, who are 46 and 51, say they don't remember me without white hair. They think I was born, this was my color hair. They just don't remember, and the grandkids don't have a chance because they never knew me before that. So, a couple years ago, I got thinking, that's a shame. I don't mind looking like this, but I don't want to be remembered that I look like this all the time. So I went back through a lot of old family albums, and once again, with the help of my good friend and good elf, George Hatcher, collected a number of pictures that we made into a family collage. And I wanted the pictures to represent what Nancy and I looked like when we first were Nancy and I. I have it.
Is it here?
Yep. It's somewhere.
Is it over here? I don't think you did.
Oh, where's the box? Oh, well, you.
It's not in here.
All right, you missed some good pictures, sorry.
You did, boy.
I started on the left, and there was a picture when I was in college, and Nancy and I were, close your ears, kid, making out on the couch in my apartment.
Good thoughts, right, Jim?
And we had pictures of our wedding, when the boys were very young. We had pictures of when David got married and we were all dressed up in tuxes. We had a picture when Jed and Janice got married. So we started on the left with our youngest when we were first dating and went all the way to the right. So we had the whole gamut so the family can see that we were not always just the old grandparents. We were once young and stupid like sometimes we think our kids and our grandkids are. It was a great reminder. And I can't believe it. I guess that's an age thing. Well, I forgot to put that.
Well,
picture.
Jack, I have now a new page for the Spark where your friends here will see those pictures where maybe you looked a little stupid.
I knew I could count on you. All right, hang on. I'm winding down. One of the best gifts I have ever received was a year and a half ago on my 75th birthday.
Bring that.
Nancy gave me a subscription to something called Storyworth. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but I would encourage everyone to look it up, storyworth.com. Once a week, I got a question that I was supposed to write the answer to, and I would send it back to Storyworth, and the giver, Nancy, would get a copy of what I had written. At the end of the year, they would publish a book. This is my book, 52 chapters, and it runs the gamut of questions. You can pass that around. I spent a lot of time because I felt that this is part of my legacy. We all of us think, oh, I'd like to write a book someday, or I'd like to do, leave something behind. The questions that they ask, we're not wed to the questions. You can change the questions a little bit if you want to. You can eliminate questions that you don't think are pertinent to you, and you can add or tweak questions that you want to explain a little bit more. I've really enjoyed doing this, and I feel that because of this, I encourage everybody to look at this. It's something that you may want to give your spouse. If you're fortunate to still have a parent that's alive and capable of doing that, it would be a wonderful gift for them. I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis of some of the questions. They asked some basic ones. What are your favorite movies? What are your favorite songs? I usually answer those questions by giving a list of about 10 movies, books, songs, and why they were important to me at different parts of my life. I think this is something that my children, my grandchildren can look back on after I'm gone and say, oh, that was one of Dad's favorite songs. I know my father's favorite song, but I don't know his favorite book. I don't know his favorite movie. But to this day, whenever I hear Stardust, I think of my father because I hear him singing it. And I picture he and my mother dancing. And it's a wonderful thought. It brings me close to my family. One of the questions is, what are the simple pleasures in life that you enjoy? I'm going to read that one quickly because they're simple pleasures. They're my simple pleasures, so they don't really need any explanation about why I like them, or it's not open for argument. They're my pleasures. Simple pleasures. What a great topic to spend some time. Ryan, watching him pin a wrestling opponent. Sarah listening to her sing. Noah seeing him steal a bass. Malia laughing as she utters a funny one-liner. Being with the entire family, especially David and Jed at Disney World. 3, the sun shining on the water. 4, the sound of a bat hitting a ball. 5, a tight bed on a cold night. 6, good music. 7, a clear sunrise or sunset, especially over the water. 8, the smell of fresh coffee. 9, a baby's smile and laugh. Oops. 9 was smile, 10 was laugh. A balanced checkbook. Christmas Eve, especially when singing Silent Night. Christmas Day, all day. Trimming the Christmas tree with old friends, ornaments that we have shared throughout the years. Young puppies. The first swallow of a really cold beer on a really hot day. The ocean. Hearing the waves break on the beach. Smelling the ocean air. Feeling the sand beneath my toes. Finishing a good book. The sound of geese honking in the fall. The sound of geese pitching on the water. Good conversation with good friends. Kissing and saying goodnight to Nancy every night. Simple pleasures. That's who I am. That's part of me. And I think she gave me the gift of Storyworth, and hopefully I can give that gift back to my children and my grandchildren, and they will know me better. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to say, give yourselves a gift this holiday season. I love the Jim Valvano speech that he gave in 1993 at the first ESPY Awards, 10 days before he passed away. 10 days. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. And in this speech, he said, in order to have a good day, I think you need to do 3 things every day, and it'll be a good day. Number 1, you have to have a good old-fashioned belly laugh. Just laugh out loud, especially with friends. Number 2, you have to think. You have to use that brain and just think out of the box, in the box, whatever. Just use your brain to think. And number 3, cry. Have a good emotional cry, especially this time of year, remembering loved ones that are no longer here. We can, even though we feel sad that they're not here, we are still honored by their presence in our lives. And the fact, 5 years, 10 years, 40 years after they've gone, there's still a presence in our lives. If you can do those 3 things, the full gamut of emotion, then you will be having a good day. And I added a 4th after hearing this. And the 4th that I had was tell somebody that you love them. If you can do those 4 things, I know it's tough to do every day, but if you can do them this holiday season, that gift that you give yourself will be repaid over and over again. It'll be a gift that others pass on to other people, and it will make your lives and their lives much better. I look forward to this Christmas season. May God's peace be with you May God's peace be with those you love. Thank you so much.
Wow. That was great, Jack. I enjoyed the props too. Yes, sure. Sure, absolutely.
Jake, I just want to tell you, that's probably the best presentation I've ever heard as a member of this Rotary Club. So I thank you.
Thank you very much.
And if you'd permit me, I'd like to just piggyback with a small, little-known fact. There are 2 members of this club who are Christmas babies. It just so happens, there may be more, just so happens they're here.
Yep.
And I'd like for them to stand up. The 2 Christmas babies, would you stand up, please?
Thank you. Yeah, I noticed that. That was interesting because I do my agendas for the month and kind of flying it out. Both of you have a birthday on Christmas Day. I thought that was pretty special. But thank you so much, Jack. And I think it's really important to think about all those emotions that you just shared in those four ending points. And it's okay to cry. I cried when you read the letter from your mother. So there we go. Got the cry out today. But thank you all so much for being here. It's just so important. This is a great time of the year. Peter, thank you for coming up with that great idea. The board will meet next week, and we'll have board reports next week. So without any further ado, let's finish with the four-way test. Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build better friendships?
Will be beneficial to all concerned. Go out there and be that coffee bean. Spread the love.
Don't want a lot for Christmas. There's just one thing I need. I don't care about those presents underneath the Christmas tree. See, I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. You know that all I want for Christmas is you. Won't ask for much this Christmas. I won't even wish for snow. No, I'm just gonna keep on waiting underneath the mistletoe. There's no sense in hanging stockings there upon the fireplace, 'cause Santa, he won't make me happy with a toy on Christmas Day. I just want you here tonight, holding on to me so tight. Girl, what can I do? You know that all I want for Christmas is you.